So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Entrepreneur's Mind. And today we are engaging Mr. James Gitau, the CEO of Peak Performance International. For those of you who are wondering, Peak Performance International is the leading transformational firm in Africa that focuses on empowering ordinary people achieve extraordinary minds. Well, I cannot explain it better like they will. So join me today as we talk to Mr. James Gitau. James is a leading transformational expert in Africa and is one of the 300 certified high-performance coaches in the world. The visionary and founder of Peak Performance International has trained at the feet of some of the world-leading transformational tutors in the world, among them Anthony Robbins and Paul Shile. Over the last 18 years, he has worked as an executive coach, creative strategist, and culture authority to over 200 CEOs and 200,000 people across Africa. But why Peak Performance?
About 20 years ago, I wanted to change my life. I was struggling with certain things, struggling with things like smoking too much. I used to smoke about a packet a day, and I'd smoked for 26 years. I was drinking a lot, and I was obviously not on the right path. And I knew that if I continued on that path, it was going to be self-destruction. So it's like when you know you're doing something wrong and you need to change, and you try different ways. You try counseling, you try to get people to help you out, and I couldn't just stop smoking and I couldn't stop drinking. And I thought to myself, there must be a different way. And I was lucky enough to come across some technology or some skills that changed my life forever. And it was through a book, then from a book to some seminars in the US, where I studied under some of the best people in regard to what they call the neuroscience of change and success conditioning. And applying some of those skills that I'd learned, I immediately stopped smoking, no withdrawal symptoms, nothing at all, and lost 25 kgs, became more athletic. My life changed completely, and I felt more energetic than ever been. Now at the age of 60, I feel younger than I was when I was 40. And I thought, it's time to change my other businesses from my other business and teach what I teach now, or teach what we teach at Peak Performance, creating that change that we all want. So why Peak Performance? I thought, learning what I learned, I am becoming more a peak performer. I woke up earlier, I started running short distances, long distances. I've ran 500 kilometers at one time. And thinking, oh my goodness, look at this guy who was overweight. Look at this guy who was struggling with some things, and now he's overcome them. So yes, we chose the word peak performance, and we're training people on how to really unleash their potential.
With the number of programs offered at Peak Performance International, the aim is to target everyone from the young ones to the elderly to improve on their performances with improved reprogramming tools put in place.
When I came up with this, of course, the big thing is change, how do you change habits like smoking? For me, that was big. How do you change habits like drinking? Okay, how do you change your health? And the first program we really came up with is, creating the body you desire, you deserve, okay? Or you deserve, you desire. And I said, I could watch around and I could see so many people, my friends, family members, who are struggling with weight, who are sickly and didn't know exactly what to do. And some of what they were suffering from was, the diet, lack of exercise, stress life. And I said, this is what the program I want to start with. And believe it or not, despite people having those issues, they didn't want to transform. They kind of wanted to continue the same habits. And there are many lessons I learned from that that's part of transforming people is a hard thing, or changing habits is a hard thing. And over time, we've learned new skills on how to help people move faster towards a better life. People who could change fast would be kids, the youth. And we introduce or we package some programs teaching the youth how to create a better attitude, how to pass exams without the normal stresses of reading too much and stuff like that. And we developed all these programs in which, it's called accelerated learning skills, in which we teach young kids, people who are doing exams or about to do exams, like from standard 7 up to Form 4 and college, how you can learn faster, taking whatever information is coming at a higher speed and have a better recall. And we've seen a lot of transformation. Kids who are failing in the exams, kids who are D's and they're getting D's, moving from D's to B's and A's.
Many of us will most likely not be willing to share their weaknesses or past failures to avoid humiliation from those close to them. But as Mr. James Gitau tells us,
a lot of people struggle, and I struggled for 40 years. I was successful in certain areas. I was a good businessman, so I'm making money and I'm thinking, what else can somebody show me? I've been to school, I've been to university. In my days when you went to university, it was a big thing. So you can easily get boxed by some few past successes. But I think if you can get to the point of awareness, and you can get to the point of admitting to yourself, which is a big challenge for most people, to admit to myself there are areas that I'm not good at. And don't be ashamed about that. I'm not ashamed about my past failures. I'm not ashamed about my past mistakes. Okay, because I'm a human being, and human beings are created in such a way. Some of the mistakes I made, or some of the conditions I was in, it's not because of my making. It's what the society had told me. I was shown when you're young. You go drink and you smoke. You look good. You're smoking. I was looking. My father used to smoke, so I thought smoking was a cool thing. But then I got addicted. Does that make me a bad person? No. If you have a low self-esteem issue, does it mean you're a bad person? You're not. But your behavior right now is pushing people away from you. So it's admitting, I can do something about this. I can seek for help. Go there, seek for help, and you're going to experience a better life. So I say, if you're struggling, seek for help. You're not an expert in everything.
Being unique is an area every business stands for in an environment full of competition.
Well, first let me say that the people claiming they're offering what we offer, and in some areas could be true, not in all areas. But I think what really distinguishes us from the rest is that we are teaching skills on creating transformation of the way of thinking. Because a lot of people are very good in motivation. And I've seen people saying, we want so and so of a different company to come to speak to us or train us because it's motivational. Yes, I come there and motivate you and tell you all kind of stuff, speak fast and get you hyped up. And then I say, bye-bye guys, go and do what I've just said. Okay? Two weeks later, or even a week later, or even the following day, the motivation is gone down. Okay? Because you did not address the brain. And as I said earlier on, any transformation that's going to take place is changing how you're wired inside. And that's what we really specialize. How do you change the way you're wired? The other thing is that we have techniques. We help people become more creative, have better solutions to the challenges they're having, and very, very powerful, unique techniques that are used by CEOs and executives of Fortune 500 companies.
In 2012, they became the first African firm licensed to conduct unique brain development program under the Genius Mastery Academy. And this became a huge step for them.
I'm a curious guy. I like learning more and more. And I think, when 20 plus years ago, I didn't think people can teach me new things. And I say it's the grace of God, because, all these things, even for me being curious and wanting to change, it was the grace of God, because some people are still stuck. There's my friends who go to the bar every night or every other night, eat nyama choma, laugh, and so forth. And I can see them stuck in that. So I cannot say I'm special, but God showed me a way and says, you go out there and learn these things. Let me say that we've worked with over 200,000 people across Africa, Asia, and Europe. And knowing that there are people who are being transformed, some of them There's a lady I met and says, James, if it wasn't for you, I'd not be a PS. I did your program when I was at this level. I didn't believe I could get those positions, and I went on, and later on applied for a PS job, and I'm a PS. And she had a picture of in her office of one of the programs she did with us many years ago. I met somebody who said, if it wasn't for you, I'd not be an ambassador. Okay, and he was Kenya's ambassador to a Southern African country. I met people who said, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be a multi-millionaire. I learned how to believe in myself. I took action. I'm now a multi-millionaire. I'm employing so many people in my business. So yes, that's great for us. We feel really blessed and privileged to have been have had the honor to touch so many people's lives.
Peak Performance continues to offer services to their different clients and see to it that their clients do not leave unsatisfied.
Of course, we're talking to people out there and we're telling them about our programs. We're telling them what we do, okay, and of course trying to distinguish ourselves from a lot of other people, because sometimes it's hard for someone to tell the difference between this program and this program, or this company and this company. So we're trying to keep pushing that information or distinction of what we do and other people do. So that's the first thing. And then of course the other thing is trying to show people what this can do for them. And I can assure you one thing it does is really changes people's life. And then if people, yes, buy into the idea, or people are ready, sometimes people are not just ready as yet. Okay, those who are ready will call in and say, can you do, if it's a corporate, I'll do a program for the corporate. And again, people who are serious, invest time and money. They call us, we look at what are the issues. For example, we'll audit the culture of that institution. Once we audit the culture of that institution, we see the things that are pulling them behind, the things that are pushing them ahead. We define and say we want to do more of this, create a new behavior and help them practice that behavior over time. And we're teaching them through consultancies, we're teaching them through sessions, workshop and so forth. It takes different format, and some of those companies have increased their productivity by 400% within a very short time.
As it is said, no industry enjoys its success without challenges.
One of the biggest challenges you face as a business is many imitators, okay, and therefore trying to distinguish yourself from, and again, people will say we do this, we transform kids. But basically, I know some people who have stolen our materials, and I've seen some that the people produce saying the same thing. They take our materials and then they go and try and replicate. So that's one big challenge you get. And then, of course, the person seeking services is not able to know this is just a photocopy. Like how you can go on the internet, download some materials or PowerPoint from a great guy, and then you say try and teach the same thing. But if there's no philosophy behind that, if there's no personal drive, it doesn't come out. So if you're teaching something, there has to be some philosophy. You've got to understand also the mechanics, because when I present, or if one of my trainers present or teach in a class, there are things we teach them on how to get into the subconscious, help the subconscious of that guy to change, so they can feel, yes, I want to transform. And it's very easy, it's not a big deal, but we teach that. And of course, then the other challenges you have is that I present to you what we have, and you're thinking, it's expensive. I can't afford this. And I say, think about it. If you can't afford it, what will it cost you in the future? If you say, I can't pay this amount to pay for my kids, it's almost the same amount as school fees I pay for my child, okay? And it's only a 3-4 days training. But I'm asking, how long has it taken you? Or how much has it cost you? Or would it cost you if you remain in the same situation, okay? If you said, I can't invest in learning how to invest to make money, what could it cost in your retirement? Okay, so I say, please invest time and money. Affordability is in the mind, okay? Somebody, if you tell them a loaf of bread is 40 bob, they say it's too much. But they can afford to, or maybe you tell them plate of salad is 50 bob. And says majani too, how can I pay 50 bob for majani? But they're going to have 5 beers, 6 beers, which cost 1,000 bob. So it's the state of mind. So you must say, yes, I can afford this, and you can. We spend a huge amount of money in educating our kids. If you think about it, from baby class nowadays up to university, PhDs, okay, it's going to cost you millions of shillings. But it's not the amount of time you spend in school that gives you the results. Okay, I can teach you in 3 days what they'll never teach you in Harvard and get better results. How much is that worth? Shortcut to success. That's what we teach. Okay, so our programs range. It all varies. It's going to range from about 20,000 for individuals to about 60,000, which is really cheap in our view.
And to wrap it all, this is what Mr. Gitau had to say.
This country, we must transform. Okay, if we don't transform, it's going to be self-destruction. I have grandchildren and have children. Okay, and I'm thinking, are we on the right path? Are we on a path where we're going to be creating enough jobs? Are we on a path where we're creating security for our kids and our grandchildren? Are we on a path of creating a better environment which is not polluted? Okay, are we on a path where we're creating a great mindset that's going to produce great results? Are we preparing our kids to be inventors? Are we preparing them to become dependents on other people's technology and skills? And I'm thinking, no, in my view, in some of those areas, we're doing badly. So if what peak performance is aiming us, and this is our mission, is transforming people's lives. And the way you're going to transform people's life is not so much by jailing them. We've seen it doesn't work. There's been things like the DCI, the institutions are working really hard and have nothing against that. The DPP is working really hard, but we're not getting the results we're looking for. This country is very corrupt. And I'm thinking, what we must do is change the way we transform I don't want to use the word change. It's transform the way we think and the way we do things. It's basically creating a new mindset, almost like a new brain, and say, guys, let's operate on a new program. This program, software, so to speak, is not working. It's producing corruption, it's producing unemployment, it's producing negative things, okay, or not sufficient positive things to take us where we want.